Welcome to a brand new week. I hope this one brings you clarity, drive, and fresh opportunities to level up your life. Today, we're diving into a book that has flipped the script on how millions of people view money, wealth, and success. I'm talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, a timeless guide that challenges everything we were taught in school about money. Kiyosaki grew up with two father figures. His biological father, the poor dad, who was highly educated but financially struggling, and his best friend's father, the rich dad, a savvy entrepreneur who built wealth from scratch. From these two men, he learned vastly different lessons that shaped his entire perspective on wealth creation. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with eye-opening insights into the difference between working for money versus making money work for you. Let's break this down into lessons you won't forget. Lesson 1: The Two Dads, Two Philosophies. Robert introduces us to the contrast between his two dads. One says, go to school, get good grades, and find a safe job. The other says, learn how money works, make it your servant, not your master. Right from childhood, Robert faces a decision that every one of us must face. Do we follow the traditional path, or do we step into the uncertain world of financial intelligence? Lesson 2: The lesson of not working for money. At just 9 years old, Robert starts working for Rich Dad, but here's the twist: he's not paid. Frustrated, he complains. Rich Dad then teaches him the most radical lesson: the poor and middle class work for money, the rich make money work for them. This flips Robert's world upside down and forces him to start thinking differently about what money really is. Lesson 3: The Rat Race Trap. Robert paints a vivid picture of the rat race. People study hard, get degrees, land jobs, and as soon as they earn more, their expenses rise: bigger houses, nicer cars, more debt. The result? They're running in circles, chasing money, but never breaking free. Rich Dad explains that this endless cycle is why financial literacy is more important than academic intelligence. Lesson 4: The Importance of Financial Education. Rich Dad emphasizes that schools don't teach you about money. They teach you to become good employees, not wealthy individuals. The truly rich focus on learning accounting, investing, markets, and entrepreneurship. Robert realizes that financial education is the real passport to freedom. Lesson 5: Understanding Assets and Liabilities. This is the heart of the book. Rich Dad boils it down simply: assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. The middle class often confuse the two, thinking their home is an asset when, in reality, it drains money through mortgages, taxes, and maintenance. The rich focus on buying income-generating assets like businesses, stocks, and real estate. Lesson 6: The Power of Entrepreneurship. Rich Dad shows Robert that entrepreneurs don't think in terms of job security. They think in terms of opportunity, risk, and value creation. This mindset shift teaches Robert that financial freedom isn't about climbing a corporate ladder, it's about owning the ladder itself. Lesson 7: The Fear That Holds People Back. Robert learns that fear of losing money, fear of rejection, fear of risk, is the biggest barrier between people and wealth. Poor Dad teaches him to play it safe. Rich Dad teaches him that mistakes and failures are the stepping stones to mastery. The wealthy embrace risk and learn from failure, the poor avoid it and stay stuck. Lesson 8: The Value of Learning, Not Just Earning. Rich Dad tells Robert not to chase high-paying jobs but instead to look for jobs that teach valuable skills. Sales, marketing, investing, communication, and leadership, these are the real currencies that build wealth. Money follows skill, not the other way around. Lesson 9: The Role of Taxes and Corporations. One of the boldest lessons Robert shares is how the rich use corporations to shield and grow their wealth. While employees work hard, pay taxes first, and spend what's left, The rich earn, invest, deduct expenses, and then pay taxes last. It's not about cheating the system, it's about understanding it better than anyone else. Lesson 10. Working to learn, not to earn. Kiyosaki stresses that every experience, whether it's in sales, real estate, or business, is a learning opportunity. The poor see jobs as a paycheck. The rich see them as training grounds for wealth creation. This mindset sets the stage for lifelong growth. Lesson 11. Giving back and creating value. Rich Dad teaches that wealth isn't just about hoarding money. It's about providing value, solving problems, and eventually giving back. True wealth multiplies when it's shared through investments, innovation, and generosity. Lesson 12. Mastering the power of self-discipline. Rich Dad tells Robert that without self-discipline, wealth slips through your fingers. It's not enough to earn money. You must control spending, delay gratification, and reinvest your profits. Many people let emotions, greed, fear, or impatience dictate their financial decisions, which keeps them broke. Discipline means sticking to long-term goals, even when short-term pleasures call your name. True wealth, Rich Dad says, is less about how much you make and more about how much you keep. Lesson 13. The need to overcome cynicism. Rich Dad teaches Robert that cynicism, those nagging doubts and skeptical voices, destroys more dreams than actual failure. Most people say things like, "That won't work," or "It's too risky," before they even try. These thoughts aren't just internal. Society reinforces them, discouraging risk-taking and promoting safe choices. The rich understand that opportunities are everywhere, but cynicism blinds you to them. If you want to build wealth, you must silence the inner critic and surround yourself with people who see possibilities, not just problems. Lesson 14. The importance of taking action. Robert learns that knowledge without action is useless. Too many people attend seminars, read books, and gather ideas but never act on them. Rich Dad stresses that the gap between the poor and the rich isn't intelligence, it's action. The rich pull the trigger, take calculated risks, and adjust along the way. The poor wait for the perfect moment, which never comes. Wealth is built not in the dreaming, but in the doing. Lesson 15. The art of learning from failure. Rich Dad reframes failure as a stepping stone, not a setback. Every mistake, every bad investment, every loss is a tuition fee for real-world financial education. The poor see failure as proof they shouldn't have tried, while the rich see it as proof they're on the right path, just needing refinement. Robert realizes that his rich dad is fearless about failing, because he knows each failure carries a lesson that money can't buy. This mindset alone separates winners from quitters. Lesson 16. The role of mindset in wealth creation. Finally, Rich Dad emphasizes that building wealth is a mental game before it's a financial one. If you think you can't afford something, your mind shuts down. But if you ask, "How can I afford it?" your brain starts finding solutions. The rich train their minds to think in terms of opportunities, leverage, and abundance, while the poor remain stuck in scarcity and limitations. Your outer wealth, Rich Dad insists, will never grow beyond the limits of your inner mindset. Lesson 17. Breaking free from the system. Robert finally realizes that financial freedom isn't a fantasy reserved for a few. It's accessible to anyone who is willing to learn, take risks, and act differently from the crowd. The choice is ours: follow the path of poor dad, or step into the mindset of rich dad. So, as we step into this new week, here's the question for you. Are you working for money, or are you making money work for you? Which dad are you listening to in your daily choices? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you see yourself more in the lessons of Rich Dad, or are you still battling with the mindset of poor dad? If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to check out more summaries here on the summary shelf. where we break down books that change the way you think and live. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an insight that could transform your financial future. Here's to a week of smart choices, bold moves, and wealth-building decisions. See you in the next one.